have a seat. Please be hospitable and scooch wherever you can. We have a lot of people standing still, so if you can scooch in close, it would be great. So today we hear the gospel of the Good Samaritan. You all know the story. You've heard it a million times. It's part of our cultural lexicon to be a Good Samaritan. In the Good Samaritan, every one of us in this room plays two parts in the story. We are to see ourselves in two parts in the story. The first part is that we should all understand that we are the person who is on the side of the road. Did you know that? Did you know that you have been robbed, that you have been stripped, that you have been wounded, and that you have been left half dead? Because that's the fallen state of mankind. Mankind comes into the world, and through the ravages of sin and the depredations of the evil one, we're robbed of our glory, our dignity. We're stripped of our human decency. We are wounded by our transgressions. We wound others as a result of them as well. We wound each other. And we're left half dead. We're physically alive, but spiritually in need of resurrection. That comes to us through holy baptism. And then finally, physical resurrection in the life of the age to come. So we're that person. Every single one of you came in today limping. Either you knew it or not. I've been limping the last few weeks. My ankles, thank you, finally good by your prayers, seems to be. Well, we're all limping from these wounds. We're all lacking the clothing of God's grace, which Adam and Eve had in the garden when we were ravaged by sin. So that means we also can take the place of one other person in that story. And that part, then, is up to you. You can take the role of the passerby, and you can look around and say, whoa, I don't know what to do about that person's nakedness, woundedness, and half-deadness. I don't know what to do with them. I'm just going to walk by. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to get complications. I don't know what I can do to help them. Whatever. I'm in a hurry. Whatever it is. You can be that person. And you can come to church. And you can come to church and come and say, I'm here to get what I need to get from the Lord. I'm here to do my thing. And I want to get out of here as fast as I can because then I'm going to go do the next thing that I want to do. And that can be basically passing by and ignoring the person next to you. And the person in the room. And the person that God presented for you today to get to know better. Or the people, plural. Or you can be the person who stops. And who's the Good Samaritan? The Samaritan in the story is the stranger. He's a foreigner. The people hearing this story, right, are probably assuming the man that was going up to Jericho and fell among the thieves is a fellow Jew like themselves. That's how they would assume that's probably their own guy. So when a Samaritan stops, he's a stranger, he's a foreigner, he's an enemy even. He's an unknown. But he's the one who stops. He's the one who shows compassion. He's the one who takes the time to address the other person, literally dress them, but address their needs and bind their wounds and show kindness and help take care of them. So that's your choice. Which person will you additionally be in addition to the first? Brothers and sisters, today you might have noticed there's a little booklet, and I hope we have enough for all the households, just one per household, please, that says New Member Sunday. And there's like 35 people or so listed in that booklet, if you count them all up. It's incredible. And there's probably about 5 more people that I didn't get stuff from that I wanted to add, that I didn't add. So think about that. About 40 new members to include. There are 40 people limping in off the street who have suffered the ravages of this world in whatever way that they have. extremely or not so extremely, whatever the case may be, but they're here in need of Christ. They came for Jesus Christ. But you are going to be the Christ to them when they come in. Not just the two-dimensional Christ up here on the iconostas, the three-dimensional Christ that you are going to be for them. Or you're going to be the passerby. So read those stories. If you have time during liturgy, I won't be upset with you if you're distracted while I'm saying long prayers. If you crack it open and read, that's okay. You have my blessing today. Because that's your liturgy today. The people is actually an order of the church. We talk about holy orders in terms of bishops, priests, and deacons, and subdeacons, and altar servers. Okay? The people is actually the largest order of the church. That's the leos in the neos, the people in the sanctuary. That's who you are. And you actually have a job of prayer during the liturgy. Not just us. This is not a observation-only activity. So as you read that, pray for each one of those people. And then at the end of the liturgy today, we're going to introduce them, those who are physically here, so that you can put a name to a face. And then your job is during coffee hour to get to know them. To come up and say hello, introduce yourself. If you haven't met them before, say, here, I'm so-and-so. I'd like to meet you. I saw that you do this, or you came from here, and I did that too, or I do this. You know, there's information there for you to connect with them, to help. Now, in a lot of churches, well, you may know that historically there is a practice in the Christian liturgy called the kiss of peace. Y'all heard of that, the kiss of peace?
Yes.
We still do it in our liturgy, usually, but only when, in this parish at least, usually it's just the deacons. You'll see them come up in the front. Are you guys doing it when my back is turned? I don't know. I don't know if anyone's doing it. The priests who are celebrating will do a kiss of peace with each other. And traditionally, the people also gave each other a kiss of peace. Now, this was, of course, historically gender-segregated seating, so it was a little less awkward, right? Bros kissing bros, not awkward at all, and sisters kissing sisters. So that's fine, and that's normal. It's a little bit weirder when it's like, hey, why are you kissing my wife? That's a little weird. But so a lot of people have adapted this kiss of peace in American context to the handshake of peace. Hey, how's it going? Or nowadays, even better, the fist bump of peace. I think that those are all very cute, but very cringy and awkward. And I think a lot of you probably feel the same, but some of you may not. So I just want us to kind of, I'm not going to institute that practice as any kind of obligation, but if you ever want to feel like doing that, do that. But more importantly, I want you to practice the act of the kiss of peace right now. Turn to the person next to you or behind you that you didn't come with. Give them the fist bump of peace. And say, nerd. Seriously, go on, do it. Wow. Now that wasn't so painful, was it? It wasn't so hard to say hello, to greet the person next to you. How many of you have come here and never done that? Some of you will admit it. Most of you, I don't want to say anything. He's going to make me do it more. We have to get out of our comfort shell. If we're not comfortable greeting and being the Good Samaritan to the person right next to us in the church we go to, what's the chances that we're going to stop and actually help the literal person on the side of the road? It's not very good, you know. Maybe we'll roll down our window and slip the guy in the street corner a few bucks or something like that. But the people out there that are really hurting, that aren't able to spend all day on a street corner hitting you up for chump change, you know, those people are not going to, you're not going to go out looking for them unless you've already established an ethic and a practice of reaching out and greeting and getting out of your comfort zone. How many of you are identified as introverts? A good number. Okay, so this is the part in the gospel where the Lord says the way to salvation is difficult and narrow. And take up your cross for you introverts. The cross of talking to people or reaching out to people you don't know, that you haven't yet built that relationship with. This is part of what it means to be a Good Samaritan. It starts right here on a very simple, low effort, low risk level, right? But you develop that skill and that character within you so that when you go into the world, it becomes the natural response to every person that you encounter, because every person you encounter, again, is stripped, wounded, laying on the side of the road and half dead. That's the world we live in. And our job is to bring healing and comfort and compassion and mercy to all of us. May God bless you. Christ is among us.
Yes.